and then we have the dividends there. So whenever you see this examiner giving you many dividends, ladies and gentlemen, as I normally tell my students in class here, this examiner is not giving you out rose flowers. When you see many dividends over several years being given, the examiner wants you to analyze the growth rate. And the growth rate, there are two formulas of getting this growth rate. We have this formula here, and then we have this other formula that we are quite used to, which says that our G equals n minus 1 into, we have here our current dividend per share all over what here? Our oldest dividends per share minus what here? Minus 1. Minus 1. Minus 1. Minus 1. Minus 1. Minus 1. So n number of years from note number 4. How many years are we talking about? 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. Those are 4 years. So 4 minus 1, that gives me 3. Cube root of the current dividend. The most current dividend is the dividend coming in the year 2018, which is 4.8. Divide this by, ladies and gentlemen, we have there, oldest dividend is the dividend of 2015, which is 4. And then whatever we'll get there, we'll subtract 1. So please get out your calculator and do that working for us. Get out your calculator and do this working for us. So we have here 4.8 divided by 4.8 divided by 4 equals, I'm getting 1.2. So after I get this 1.2, ladies and gentlemen, I will be looking for the cube root. The cube root, I'll punch 3. And then there is a button here where you are able to see an arrow, ladies and gentlemen, up there, an arrow there, which is written extrude, meaning that I have to punch shift, and then I punch that extrude. Then talk of 1.2, say equals. Of course, after getting that, I'll come and subtract this 1. The 1 is independent. The 1 is independent there. So minus 1. So what figure are we getting, somebody here? We are getting 0.0626, which is the same as 6.26 what here? Percent. The same as 6.26%. Now, ladies and gentlemen, having gotten those two parameters, I need to come back here very first and plug in the figures. So we have the G, which is 0.0626, equals B, which is 0.4, multiplied by R, which is my rule, return on what here? Equity, return on equity. So if that is the case, then come and make return on equity the subject. It will be 0.0626 divided by 0.4. So whatever we have there divided by 0.4, which is able to give us 0.157, like that. Basically, this is 15.7 what here? Percent. Basically, that is 15.7%. 15.7%. So I hope, we always learn best through repetition, Even if we repeat many times, don't feel bad. You'll end up getting something. So please allow me then very fast to go through this simple concept of WACC. How do we get WACC? How do we get WACC? Ladies and gentlemen, for us to get WACC, kumbuka ile hesabu ya wekesa. So nasema hapa, weight of equity, cost of equity. We have here plus weight of preference, cost of preference shares, plus weight of debt, cost of debt, after what here? Taxation. After taxation. So could you kindly write this formula of WACC and then you highlight it. Kindly highlight it. Just highlight it. Highlight this formula. Very, very important formula. Now remember these W's, these are what here? Weights. W's are the weights. I can even start with them. So we have our weights. Our weights, if you look at the current capital structure, we have the current capital structure, which is given up there on that table before additional information. Before additional information, we'll be able to see the firm's current capital structure, where we start with ordinary shares. Ordinary shares. So the ordinary shares, what figure are they giving us for ordinary shares? I can see 80,000. 80,000. From there, I can see the other thing there is debenture capital. So we have here debentures, debentures, debentures. Debentures are debt instruments. So debentures, ladies and gentlemen, what do we have there for debentures? 30,000. 30,000, debentures 30,000. From there, I can see preference, preference capital, preference share capital, preference share capital. What do we have there? I can see 20,000. Ladies and gentlemen, remember for computations of WACC, we only consider the key components of the capital structure. That is OSC, ordinary share capital. We have preference, and then you have got what here? Somebody debt. If there are any reserves, you don't bring them. You ignore them. You ignore them. Don't take those reserves and put them in ordinary share capital. They are not supposed to be put together. The reserves, normally we put it there as examiners to confuse you. To confuse you. Remember I told you the other day, our aim as examiners is to ensure that most of you, as many as possible, go away from the road of passing. They go to the bush like this. You have so few of you passing. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember this is what we call the historical, right? And yet we know that for WACC we want market values. We want market values. Market values, not historical values, not book values. So how do I change these historical stroke book values to market values, my good students? Just give me a comment there. How do we change this book? These are book value capital. How do we change them? How do we change them to market values, my good students? I want to see a comment there. And if you don't know, you simply say Akia Mongen. Akia Mongen in German means I don't know. We divide each by total. Josephine is saying like you come and take these ones, 80 plus 30 plus 20, and then you start getting proportions. You'll get a 0. You'll get a 0. You'll get a 0. If you do it that way, Josephine, for sure, a 0 will be staring at you live. Live. Christine has started to say, I don't know. I don't know. Multiplying by the current price and divide by the par value. We equate them to the market prices. Akia Mongen. Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what we need to do is to come and divide these figures by the par values. You divide the figures by the par values first. So if you look at the ordinary share capital, ladies and gentlemen, what is the par value there? The par value of ordinary share capital is 10. How about the par value of the debentures? Debentures. Par value of debentures, if you're able to see, please read for me there. Par value. Par value. Par value of debentures. Are you able to see the par value of debentures? Christine says 100, Emmanuel 100. Yes. So you divide this by 100. How about the par value of preference shares? Have they given us the par value of preference shares? Par value of preference shares? 20, yes, 20. So you divide by par value and then you multiply by the market prices. You multiply this by the market prices like that. So you go to the additional information and they pick for us the market price of ordinary shares. Now you go to the additional information. You go to the additional information and you pick for us the ordinary shares price, market price per share. Go to the additional information, and you get the market prices now. I'm waiting to hear from you the market price of an ordinary share. Of an ordinary share. Of an ordinary share. The market price of an ordinary share. You have talked to me. Christine, you are very wrong. Mercy, you are very wrong. Josephine, you're correct. Caro, correct. Kennedy, correct. They have ceased writing. Justin, 30, correct. After removing dividends. Thank you very much. So in this case here, if you look at note number 1, the current market price per share of the firm's ordinary shares is 34.8, but with dividend inside. Come means with dividend. With dividend. A pregnant cow. After when you get this cow being pregnant, ladies and gentlemen, automatically it will be having a distorted price. So you need to consider this cow without the calf, right? Always. These 34.8 come div. We don't work with shares here which have dividends inside them. We have to remove the dividend element. And remember, you normally remove the current dividend. I saw some of my students removing 2015's dividend, and that is the oldest dividend. We need to subtract the most current dividend, which is 4.8. So then 34.8 minus 4.8, that gives us what here? 30. That gives us 30. From there, you go to the second element, the debentures. Is there somebody who is able to see the market value of a debenture? The market value of a debenture? Waiting to hear from you. The market value I mean, of a debenture. Market value of a debenture. Market value of a debenture. Why are you saying it is 100? And I'm not seeing it being given anywhere. I'm not seeing any place where these people are saying that debentures are going for 100. You guys, where do you get 100 from? Where do you get 100 from? Very good, very good. Note number 8, the debentures are considered to be risk-free and are valued at par. Even if, for example, you are not told that they are valued at par, even if you are not told, and they have not given us the market value of a debenture in the additional notes, then straight away assume that this thing is trading at par. Great students. Times 100. Actually, I'm wasting even my time here today. Times 100. Preference share capital, have they given us the par value? Preference share capital, have they given us the par value? Preference share capital, have they given us the par value? Josephine says 25 from note number 9. Note number 9, the existing 8% irredeemable preference shares are currently trading at 25 each. You're right. So preference shares are currently at 25 each, equals. So please give me these figures. So in short, we are getting what we call market value. For WACC purposes, we always work with market values. Market values. We always work with market values. Market values. So ordinary shares, 80,000 divided by 10 times 30. Divided by 10 times 30. Please give us a figure. From Faith, 240,000. 240,000. 240,000. Of course, for debentures, I know debentures, I'll still be left with 30,000. Then we have preference shares. I have to get a figure from you. 25,000 from Lisa. 25,000. Thank you very much. 25,000. Now, Josephine, now we can sing your chorus here. Now, Josephine, now we can sing your chorus. Come and give us the total now. Give us the total. Give us the total. Give us the total. Total market value of my securities. According to 295,000, according to Okiri, 295,000. Someone else to confirm this figure? 295,000 is correct. Now, having gotten this 295,000, Could you kindly give me the weights here very fast? Give me the weights here very fast. Give me the weights here very fast. Give me the weights there very fast. Give me the weights there very fast. What do I need to do to get the weights? You simply, if it's ordinary shares, you'll take 240,000 divided by 295,000. How many decimal places? 2. 2 decimal places. 2 decimal places. 2 decimal places. So I can see from Dan 0.81, 0.81, and then I have other students have not come in. We have Charles 0.81. I've picked that. Thank you, Charles. I've already picked that. 0.1. And then the last one 0.09. 0.09. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Thank you, and thank you very much. So have we seen, all of us, how these weights have been obtained? Have we seen, all of us, how these weights have been obtained? How we took, first of all, how we got the market values, how we got the market values, and how we were able to convert the market values to weights. The moment you do that, ladies and gentlemen, you'll be able to get like 2 marks. Examiners of AFM are very good, very good. All of them, actually, they wish their students what year success? Success. But most of the students here, because they really don't prepare very well, they end up not seeing anything in an exam. So now we have the weights. Now the next thing, ladies and gentlemen, no, I've forgotten. What do you think in this case here will be the next step after getting the weights? After getting the weights, what do you think will be the next step? Somebody talk to me this evening. After getting the weights, what do you think will be the next thing? How come I'm getting 0.8 in the last figure? Which figure? Or you got, we are looking for, look for the cost. Okay, very good, Faith, very good. So what these students have told us is that we look for the cost components now. And as Faith tells us, the very first thing we should do is to get cost of equity. We get cost of equity, I can tell you, easier said than done. Could you kindly write for us the formula of cost of equity? So write in full, cost of equity. Write in full, cost of equity. Cost of equity, we write it cost of equity. So we start by looking at the cost components, cost of equity into bracket here, K what? KE, into bracket KE. So I want to see whether there is any student who can remember the formula of getting cost of what here? Equity. You can even write in words. You don't have to write the symbols if you're not able to see them. You can just write in words. You can say DO or whatever, even if you're saying preference dividends. Raymond has gotten the answer, and I want. Mercy is saying we use CAPEM. Mercy is saying we use CAPEM. Mercy has tried. Mercy is saying we should use CAPEM. We should use CAPEM simply because, even Christine, simply because we have been given in note number 4, note number 6, the project has an estimated beta of 1.5. The required return from a well-diversified market growth is 18%, etc., etc. Ladies and gentlemen, if you use CAPEM to get cost of equity here, you get a zero. You get a zero. Thank you very much for trying, but if you try to use CAPEM in this kind of a question, you will get a zero. I'll tell you why, but before I tell you why, can somebody in this case here try giving us a formula which we should use in this particular case? Very good, Josephine. Yes. Justin, very good. What they're telling me is that Mwalimu, because we can see dividends in this question and we know the market price, then we can easily get the cost of equity holders by getting the yield. So in this case here, basically, we'll come and talk of DO into 1 plus what? G. All over what here, somebody? PO. Now, when I try to look at it, the formulas you guys gave me, all of them look like this. Ladies and gentlemen, is this formula complete? Is this formula complete? Is this, some students have started seeing what is missing. There is something missing here. There is something plus G. Thank you very much. Plus G at the end of the day. Most of you are writing just this, plus G. Remember, this formula normally comes from which parameter? This parameter, this formula of PO, the provincial officer. This provincial officer formula is a very important formula, where our provincial officer will be equal to DO into 1 plus G, district officer who has to grow. And because these two guys here are working in government, Kenya government, then we must come and talk about what here, Kenya minus what here, Kenya minus government. Remember, like yesterday, we saw some chief somewhere who was drunk, totally drunk. So most of these guys here, problems too. So Kenya minus, if you try making this Kenya the subject of the formula, you'll end up with this equation. This is an important formula, very important formula, very important formula. Okay. Now, you are supposed to know that for purposes of getting the cost of equity or any other security for that matter, if you happen to know the returns, like for example, if today you come to me, you tell me, Mwalimu Aura, I want 10,000 shillings. And then when I will be returning this money to you, I will want to return it, for example, with 2,000 on top. So when I will be returning this money to you, I would want to give you, for example, 12,000 shillings. Then what will be the cost of the capital that I gave you? The cost of the capital that I gave you will be the amount which is on top, 2,000. 2,000. 2,000. Divide this by the market price, or rather the amount which I gave you. The same case, the moment these people buy our shares, they have given us their money. At the end of the year, we have to return dividends. We have to give them dividends. So the dividend is a cost on us, and because they would want us to, represent this in the form of a percentage, I'll take the dividend payable or to be paid divided by the market price per what year per share, the historical market price per share, what they gave us earlier on, the old price they gave us. And of course, because we've got a growth rate has to appear here and where, and there, and there. But for you, you don't have to go to the nitty-gritties of this. What you need to know is you can even cram. I mean, we are only left with 2 months. We do this exam, and then we forget about the formulas. You can cram. So please come and give us the cost of equity. Has this examiner given us DO? Please write in full somewhere there that DO stands for what year? The current dividend. DO stands for the current dividend. G stands for growth of dividends. Growth of dividends. If I'm the one who has been given a chance of setting an exam, I'll give you growth of dividends, and then I'll give you growth of earnings. The moment I give you the 2 growths here, I'm so sure so many students here will simply dash to the bush direct, because they'll pick the growth of earnings, and yet they know that we are talking of dividends which are being done what year grown. It's dividends, growth in dividends, growth in dividends. And then of course we have PO. PO is the current market price per share. PO is the current market price per what year? Per share, per share. So could you kindly then substitute and give us this cost of equity? KE stands for cost of equity. Kindly plug in the figures now that we have all of them. You give us parameters here, somebody. Give us a figure. Give us a figure. Give us a figure. Give us a figure. Plug in the figures. Plug in the figures. plug in the figures, plug in the figures, plug in the figures, and they give us an answer. I'm waiting for that student will be able to give us. So Okiri 23.26. Okiri 23.26. That was pretty fast. Thank you very much, Okiri. Any other person, the girl child, children, girl child is never left behind. The system is rejecting Fiona. I don't know why. 23.4% McKenna. Thank you very much. Now, what is our current dividend? Our current dividend, ladies and gentlemen, is 4.8 into 1 plus the growth rate of dividends. We had calculated it up there. And if I'm not wrong, the growth rate of dividends, ladies and gentlemen, was 0.0 what? Was it 0.0627? If I'm not wrong. 0.0627 all over our market price per share, which is X dividend. Market price per share, which is X dividend, I can see from note number one, they have given us the current. 0 means current. They've given us the current market price per share of the firm's ordinary shares is shillings 34.8 cum div. So meaning I'll come and talk of 34.8, and if you remember from your section 3, the figure that you have here with this figure is cum div. The figure that you have here is what you come and subtract down here, 4.8, plus the growth rate, which is 0.0627, like that, my good students. So with that, now you should be able to come and give us the cost of equity. Use your calculator as well. So we have here on 4.8 times open brackets, we have 1 plus 0.0627 close, divide open another bracket for my denominator, 34.8 minus 4.8 close plus 0.0627, and then I'll be able to get 0.25, 0.2516, which is the same as 25.2 or 16 what here percent. My answer is more accurate than yours, simply because, you know, me, I've been able to feed everything in the calculator. Is there somebody who got this 25.16%? Or all of us were getting 25.3? 0.27, 0.23, they're getting 20, 23. Oh, then my figure is correct, wrong, huh? Is this growth rate correct? 0.0627. Is the growth rate correct? Is the growth rate correct? My growth rate. So if it's correct, let's work it out then slowly. What do we have? We have 4.8 times 1.0627 equals, divide this by, open brackets, 34.8 minus 4.8 close equals, I'm getting 0.17 something plus 0.0627. Yeah, it's supposed to be 0.2327. So you guys are correct. You're correct. You are ahead of me. You're brighter than me by far. And that is how it's supposed to be. There is no way a parent can ever be wiser than the kid. So 23.27%. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay. So straight away, we go to the next thing. Having gotten cost of equity, remember you are the drivers today. You are the ones who are sitting on the driver's seat. After getting the cost of equity, what should be my next step? What should be my next step? We get cost of what here? debt or cost of preference. We start with cost of debt, no problem. So come here and give us the cost of debt. Give us the cost of debt. Give us the cost of debt. So we have here the cost of debt, my good students. As a quick reminder, give us the formula. Cost of debt equals what here, somebody? Cost of debt equals what here, somebody? We're also using these sessions here to revise, yeah, and disturb our memories, knock on our memories a little bit here and there. Just even if it's in words, just write something there. So like Masudi, it's gone very fast. Very good. Very good, very good, very good, very good, very good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So most students have been able to remember here that we have got two formulas here. That for us to be able to get KD after tax, KD after who? After taxation. KD after taxation, what we could do is to take the interest amount. The interest amount. We subtract what here? Taxation. And then we'll come and divide this by the market value of debt. We divide by market value of debt. Please write this in full. We divide by market value of debt. So the amount that the debt holders gave us, right? Vis-a-vis the interest that we shall return this instrument with. But remember, interest, unlike dividends, interest is tax allowable. Is tax allowed. Tax allowed. Is tax allowed. Is tax allowed. So then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll come straight away here and get the par value. Give us the interest amount. Interest amount here will be equal to the coupon rate given here for interest. The coupon rate given here for interest is 10%. So it will be 10% of the par value. Always, whatever percentage you've given here times the par value, because interest is not supposed to be fluctuating. So it will be 10% of the par value of these debentures, which is 100, which gives us 10, which gives us 10, which gives us 10. How about the market value of debt? This one here, we were told that the market value of debt is equal to the par value, which is what here? 100. So then please come and plug in the figures here, and then you give us the KD after what here? Taxation. Give us the KD after taxation. So the KD after tax, ladies and gentlemen, will be equal to the interest amount. You have given me a figure of 10. 1 minus tax, you've already given me a figure. Or rather, you told me tax is 30%. From this particular note, you gave me a figure of tax, not 10. Tax is 30%. So 1 minus 30% gives us what here? 0.7. 0.7. All over market value of debt, which is the same as what here? Par value. So this one here will end up giving us 0.07. Yeah, because, so 0.07 is the same as what here? 7%. 7%. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we know that here there is this other shorter formula we could make use of. We could make use of the shorter formula because of this, that when market value of debt equals par value, then KD after taxation will always be obtained by taking KD before tax, multiplied by 1 minus what? 1 minus tax. But remember, this rule is only applicable whenever these holds. If these two figures are different, this shortcut can never be applied. So when market value of debt equals par value, then KDA will be equal to KD before tax into 1 minus what here? into 1 minus tax, ladies and gentlemen. Then the KD before tax. What is the cost of debt before taxation? The cost of debt before tax is equal to the rate of interest. The rate of interest given there is 10%. 1 minus tax, we know that that is 0. What here? 7, because tax is 0.3. So 1 minus 0.3 is 0.7. 10% times 0.7 from your calculators will be giving us 7%. But I've always seen so many students making this mistake and applying this shorter formula when even this condition is not holding. When this condition is not holding. If this condition does not hold, always, actually, personally, I don't even make use of this short formula. This short formula can throw you into the bush. Can throw you into the bush, get you off the road of those students who are going to pass. Okay. What is a MVD? This is market value of debt. MVD is market value of debt. Market value of debt. Now, could you kindly do for us the market, or rather the cost of preference? You give us the cost of what here? Preference shares. Give us the cost of preference shares. I'm waiting. The cost of preference shares, what you do first of all, give us the formula. Cost of preference shares, give us the formula. Cost of preference shares, give us the formula. Cost of preference shares, give us the formula. I'm not seeing anybody who has written the formula down there. Christine, KP equals DOPO times 100. I want to see the answer. I want to see the answer. I want to get the answer. I can see some students saying, like Christine, 6.4%. I like that, 6.4%. 6.4%, 6.4%. There's only one person who has gotten 6.4%. Dan, 6.4%. Thank you very much, Dan. Thank you very much. I want 2 more students. From Mercy 39, 6.4%. Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. To get our KP, cost of preference shares, what I'll need to do is to come and talk over preference dividends. The return that we will give to these particular people, preference dividends. We divide this by the market value of preference dividends. Divide this by the market value of preference dividends, right? Of preference shares, I mean. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, unlike debt, where we pay interest, which is tax allowable, preference dividends are never allowed for taxation. So please don't come and add here 1 minus tax, no. And for example, if you are told that there are any flotation costs normally reduce the money we receive. Would have subtracted something here, flotation costs, discounts. It shall come to a question that has got those parameters. For now, we don't have them. Of course, whatever we shall get here times 100. So first of all, give me the preference dividend. So preference dividend, have they given us, ladies and gentlemen, a coupon interest rate? Have they given us a coupon interest rate? Yes, it's 8%. So it will be 8% of the par value. 8% of the par value. So this will be 8% of the preference share capital par value, which is given there on the current optimal capital structure, which is 20. So 8% of 20, 8% of 20. So we have here 0.08 times 20, which gives us 1 point what here? 1.6. So then this one here will be 1.6 all over the market value of a preference share. The market value of a preference share has been given in note number 9, where they have given us the 8% redeemable preference shares are currently trading at 25 each. So divide by 25. Whatever we get times 100, this will be 0.064 times 100. This will be 6.4 what here? 6.4%. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we happen to be having everything. Yours now is to plug in the figures to give us WACC. So could you kindly write for us the WACC formula? The WACC formula. The WACC formula. Kindly write for us the WACC formula without looking at your notes. Without looking at your notes, WACC is weight of equity, cost of equity, plus weight of debt, cost of debt. You can start with preference. Weight of preference, cost of preference, plus weight of debt, cost of debt. And remember, this debt has to be after taxation. A means after tax. You can either write it as A or into brackets 1 minus what? T. 1 minus T. So then weight of equity, we happen to be having everything. Weight of equity, if I remember well, we got 0.81, right? How about cost of equity? Cost of equity, I can't remember these figures. Cost of equity, if you could just go back a little bit. This is a figure they spoke of 23 point something. Cost of equity, yes, 23.26%. Plus, how about weight of equity? Weight of preference, weight of preference, was it? Weight of preference, was it 0.1? Weight of preference, 0.1 times cost of preference that we've just gotten here. Thank you very much, Faith. Cost of preference is 6.4%, plus weight of debt. Weight of debt was 0.09 or something like that. Weight of debt. Weight of debt. Weight of debt. Weight of debt. Let's get back here a little bit. We are talking of weight of preference. Weight of, what is the weight of preference? Weight of preference. We start from there. We start from the weight of preference. Weight of preference, I'm being told, is 0.09. 0.09. So plus 0.09 times the cost of preference. That one I can see it on the board here. It's correct. Plus weight of debt. What is the weight of debt from that table that you did up there? The weight of debt, I can see some students telling me 0.1. So plus 0.1 times cost of debt after taxation. After we adjusted for taxation, we got a cost of debt of what percentage here, somebody? 7%. Again, you'll get some students coming to tax this figure, yet they're taxed it here. So they'll be doing what we call double taxation. They'll be doing what we call double taxation, which will be very unfortunate, which will be very unfortunate, which will be very unfortunate, very unfortunate. So that is our WACC, our WACC. What figures are we getting? Somebody there for WACC. So as I punch these figures in my calculator, first of all, so 19, I can see Makeno 19, another one is saying 20.11. 20.11 from Emma. 20.11 from so many Raymond. So 20.11 is correct. Please check out where you went wrong. 20.11 is very correct. 20.12 correct. 20.12 very correct. Very correct, very correct, very correct. Very correct, very correct. Let me ask you a question. Now, from how we have done this question here with you, from the look of things, was this question a tough question for a CPA Section 5 student? Was it a tough question? Yes or no, in the comment section. Njoki very. It was a tough question. 50-50, Christine, at least I can see you are saying yes. 50-50. What about the other students? Was this involving McKenna? Yes. No. It wasn't a tough question. So what I would beg of you, again, Sheila is saying very tough. When you get time, if possible today, please ensure that you repeat this question one more time. You repeat it one more time. And remember, for the students that I've taught before, don't go outside there, ladies and gentlemen, to look for so much information. You only do the things that I give you in class. Don't go outside there doing so many. No. Just master whatever I'm giving you in class. Whatever I give you in class is sufficient. Like I had my students of last semester, but unfortunately some of them failed. So after they did their exams, most of them came to me asking me whether Mwalimu, you knew how this exam will look like and you never told us. Okay, I'm not an examiner, but you see, I normally read books which examiners read. So always be repeating the questions that we do here severally. You repeat them severally and you will be able to pass. We don't want you guys to do this paper again. No, all of us have to pass. Look at Roman 3. Roman 3, they want us to give them the project risk-adjusted discount rate. So they want us to give them the RADRI. Who is able to remember this RADRI's formula? RADRI formula. Let's see whether they'll be able to remember RADRI formula. Who is able to remember hii formula ya radi kama earthquake? RADRI. Mimi si sahau hiyo kabisa, siwezi sahau hiyo kabisa. Beatrice, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Beatrice has remembered something there very much. RADRI is a formula, ladies and gentlemen, not unless you are told otherwise. RADRI formula ni KAPEM. Not unless you are told otherwise. RADRI formula is KAPEM's formula. So KAPEM's formula, ladies and gentlemen, remember KAPEM's formula. We have here KAPEM. Not unless you're told otherwise. This should be the same as RADRI, which will be equal to risk-free plus the premium minus risk-free multiplied by beta of our security, beta. Remember KAPEM, beta. KAPEM is also another area that AFM examiners really love. So in this question, have they given us, ladies and gentlemen, the risk-free rate? Are you able to see risk-free rate anywhere in this question? Risk-free rate, yes. Note number. Risk-free rate of return. I'm waiting to see whether there are students who are able to see the risk rate of return. Because after they write the risk rate of return like that, most of them will come out of an exam room telling you that, Mwalimu, fine, you told us RADRI is KAPEM, but this examiner is a bad examiner. He never gave us risk-free rate. Who is able to see the risk-free rate in this question? Dan is saying 10%. 10%, Emma. 10, yes, because note number 8, yes, Dan. The debentures are considered to be risk-free. They are considered to be risk-free. If they are considered to be risk-free, then the rate of debentures becomes our risk-free rate of return. Thank you very much. So our risk-free rate of return is the rate of the debentures. And you can see the rate of the debentures is 10%. So this will be 10%. How about this market portfolio return? Market portfolio return, this examiner has not hidden anything from us. It's given us in note number 7. The return from a well-diversified market portfolio is what here? Is 18%. Note number 7. So 18%. So 18% minus risk-free, which is what here? 10%. Multiplied by beta. The beta, and please remember beta. Beta is not this one. It's not this one. You are serious finance students, you're talking of this beta, this one, the second one. So the beta, which has been given there, is in note number 6. The project has an estimated beta of 1.5, of 1.5, of 1.5, of 1.5. Lakini so unajua huyo examiner, kwanza kabla niwaambie kuhusu examiner, hebu nipatie answer hapa. Aha, wanasema Dan anasema kwamba hii ni 22%. I don't know whether this is true. 22%, 22%. Thank you very much. So it means that if we have any project whose cash flows have been given, we shall discount this project using what we call the risk-adjusted discount rate. That discount rate which incorporates the risk element of a project, So I was trying to explain something. Kama KASNEB ingesema wewe mzee Aura, seti karatasi ya wanafunzi wa section 5. Mimi siwezi kuseti hivi peke yake. Hii question ningekuja kama hapa kwa bita, ningewapatia figures. Make it a bit involving by also wanting my students here to demonstrate deep and broad understanding of the subject by calculating beta for themselves. That's how you're able to bring an advanced financing decision question and you mix it with a portfolio stroke PEM. I would have really made this thing to be quite not tough but involving. So I would want to see whether there is a student who still remembers the formula of getting BJ. Let's see. BJ equals who? BJ equals who? BJ equals who? So the private message here, student is telling me straight away that we are happy you are not our examiner. So BJ equals who? Somebody write very fast there. BJ equals, and please don't get your notes. No. We are not here to please anybody. We are here to try to squeeze our minds a little bit here. We don't want that comfy life. No, we want to squeeze our mind, our memory, to see how further we can stretch to pick some of these things. I can give you a hint. I can see somebody, Beatrice, covariance. There is covariance somewhere. Very true. There is covariance somewhere. Dan, okay. Divided by standard deviation. Mejaribu sana Dan. Thank you very much. So that is something that I would want you guys to go and revisit, because it's one of the topics that we shall be singing over and over in our block release, Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, shida ya AFM wanafunzi wengi, si ati wanafunzi hawashikanishi AFM vizuri, wanashika, lakini wanasahau formula. Kama sasa nikiwauliza formula ya EPS, ile ya indifference ambayo niliwafunza jana, na naweza kumbuka hiyo formula ya EPS ya indifference point ambayo niliwafunza jana, na naweza kumbuka hiyo formula. Hebu andika chini hiyo formula. Just a quick recap somewhere there as a rough thing somewhere there. Hebu andika hiyo formula ya jana. Tushatoka kwa hiyo Beatrice, tushatoka kwa its variance or no, that one I've given you like a homework. Beta J, covariance between J and M. Sasa tumeenda kwa Emmanuel amesema vizuri, for the indifference point, EPS1 should be equal to EPS2, right? But how about the formula, the full formula of getting EPS? EPS should be equal to what? EPS should be equal to what, my good students? When they take time like that, I know what is happening. Net profit over NOS, I like that, Dennis. Thank you very much. EBIT minus interest, yes. Very good. All over NOS, yes. Faith, thank you very much. Emma, thank you very much. Now, let us straight away to go to this question. Let's straight away go to this question that was tested last semester, which also makes some reference to that. So you go to last semester November, it's there. I want us to project that question for them. The one of last semester, question number 6, yes, it's there. Already, question number 6, a property, yes. That question was question number 4 last semester. Question number 4 last semester. And so many students never saw anything. They saw a bird with spectacles in an exam. Property A and the property B are categorized under real estate category. Property A is all equity financed. It's all equity financed, doesn't have any debt, while property B is financed partly using debt and partly by equity finance. Both properties generated operating profit, which is EBIT, of 41,245,900 annually. This is expected to remain constant each year in perpetuity. Unlike property A, which is wholly equity financed, property B is financed partly by equity and partly by 10% debt of 215 million, quite a massive project. The cost of equity is 12% for both properties, and there are no corporation taxes. Each unit of debt is trading at par. Required, the current value of each property using the net income approach. This is an examiner who is giving students a golden handshake, wishing his or her students what is a success. So I want to see whether there is a student here who can value this project, which is all equity financed, in a minute. You value this project, which is all equity financed, in just 1 minute. We give you a present. Today have some money. Today have some money. So Mr. Dennis, I know you are in this class. Try watching out. On that, student will be the first to get. The first to get this right should not pay the next lesson. Should not pay the next lesson. Should not pay for the next lesson. Next lesson, that student should be able to enter here free of charge. So we are valuing this particular property, which is all equity financed, which is all equity financed, which is all equity financed. Mwalimu, we don't want your free class. Some of the small things that, if you happen to know them, AFM will be a walkover at this, like this concept of EBIT. Because when you go to like Modigliani MM2, MM1, you look at those things of EBIT, they're all over. And the moment you understand them, you'll have understood the entire concept of this. So according to McKenna, it's supposed to be 362. 362 was gotten this now. Can see they're getting different figures. 343, Josephine. 716. 716. 3 students. Actually, we will sponsor the first 2 to get it right. The first 2. So if we have 2 of those 3 students are getting it right, they will not pay us for the next lesson. They will not pay us for the next lesson. $345, $715. 345, 715 from Beatrice. Fortunately, Zoom has all the Beatrice again has changed the figure, what? Or there are two Beatrices. I think Beatrice has changed her mind. You know, you may change your mind and then you realize that it is the first figure that you gave which is correct. So you'll work with the second figure. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's Emma Kiando. Thank you very much. Now listen and listen to me very well. There is no way you expect to pass any paper of AFM if you don't know the P-VIFA formula. There is no way. P-VIFA formula has to be understood and understood well. Understood and understood well. P-VIFA. How do we get P-VIFA? To get P-VIFA, ladies and gentlemen, P-VIFA, we normally talk of what here? Remember the P-VIF, present value interest factor, we normally talk of 1 plus R raised to negative n. P-VIFA will be 1 minus this smaller formula. 1 minus 1 plus R raised to negative n, and then everything to be divided by what? To be divided by R. To be divided by R. To be divided by R. But now, in most cases, these examiners will talk of perpetual cash flows. Cash flows received indefinitely, infinity, 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 infinity. So when n is infinity, what happens? This term disappears. And that is why we are told, because you see infinity will kill this term. And that is why we are normally told that P-VIFA, whenever n is infinity, is normally given by 1 over what here? 1 over R. And therefore, the present value over an amount which is indefinite, present value of an amount which is indefinite, will be the amount times what here? 1 over R, which will translate to amount here, all over what here? All over R. And that is why when you go to Modigliani and Miller, you'll get the first assumption that they normally make is that we are looking at organizations that do not have an end in sight, where n is not given. And that's why we'll see most of their formulas talking about EBIT something divided by KE alone. Because the cash flow will be received forever, forever, forever. Now, ladies and gentlemen, whenever we talk over infinity, very important, we are saying that present value of an amount that is indefinite, when n is infinity, we shall be talking over an amount divided by what? The cost of capital. The same case here, they have told us that our properties do not have a useful life. Their n is not given. They are going to stay with us forever, forever. And then they want us to do what? They want us to value them. And they want us to value them using net income. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, that net income to us, how do we get it? It is EBIT minus who? Interest. It has to be profit after what here? Taxation. Profit after taxation, so 1 minus T, minus any preference dividend which exists. Then, if you do it this way, you will be able to get the net income attributable to ordinary shareholders. This is a very important formula. Very, very important formula. And normally you don't see this formula. You don't see this formula when we talk of a net income approach. If you remember net income approach, among the assumptions of net income approach, not net operating income, net income approach. And the net income approach, we normally assume that number one, there are 2 sources of capital. There are 2 sources of capital. There are 2 sources of capital. That is equity and who? Debt. 2 sources of capital, equity and debt. And that is why you will never get preference dividend appearing anywhere under the net income approach? Nowhere. Number two, if you can recall the other assumption, there is the assumption of zero what? Zero taxes. Zero taxes. Zero taxes. And that is why if you get some questions even in your past paper, if you get an examiner with serious, an examiner with serious will provide a note telling you that the corporation tax is 30%. But now in the requirement, they'll come and tell you to compute the value of, say, a property using net income approach. Usirukire 30%. Net income approach, ladies and gentlemen, assumes that companies pay zero taxes. They pay zero taxes. Now, the other thing that I'm supposed to know, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of net income approach, I'm supposed to know that the total farm value will always be equal to the value of equity plus the value of what here? Debt. Total farm value will be equal to value of equity plus value of debt. 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 Total farm value equals value of equity plus value of debt. That if you want to value any organization, you must start by looking at the capital structure itself. Ask yourself, how much have equity holders put in? If they had put in some 10 million 20 years ago, and now, of course, this value of shares keeps on changing, we will, of course, get the current market value of the equity holders. Of course, the equity holders can never finance a serious farm 100%. We'll still need support of what your debt holders. So if it's RCM, you'll be able to see we have what we have put in as shareholders, and then, of course, there is another support coming in the form of debt from banks. So value, total value, will always be equal to value of equity plus value of debt plus value of debt. Now, ladies and gentlemen, having discovered that, this formula, you will always start by valuing the equity. So determine the value of equity first. Value of equity first. But now the question is, how do we do that? 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 To get the value of equity, you will look at the net income. How much will these equity holders here get? So the net income, value of equity, these guys are getting a bit, you can just write minus interest there. Minus interest there. Of course, the tax being 0, then this will be 1 minus 0, so it's 1. There's no good reason for me to write. And of course, preference dividends are not there. So the equity holders will be eating this. This is the net income for them. And they're going to get this figure every year, meaning it's a figure receivable indefinitely. So what we need to do is to come and capitalize this. How do we capitalize this? How do we present value it? You'll come and divide this by the cost of what here? Equity, because you're interested in the value of equity. You're interested in the value of equity. You're interested in the value of equity. The value of equity. The value of equity. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for property A, sorry for that, we're just changing our batteries. For property A, you can just continue straight away calculating the value of equity for property A as we do the change. And very soon, of course, we'll be having multiple cameras. If I have that going down on power, straight away we have camera B picking. Amen. This thing is going places. Okay, so come here. They want you to share the question on the screen. Eh? No, I can't see it here. But you have that question. It's question number 4 of last sitting. Eh? It's question number 4 of last sitting. Question number 4 of last sitting. So property A. So property A, value of equity will be equal to what? Property A, value of equity will be equal to what? Are you able, ladies and gentlemen, to see the EBIT? EBIT, we are given. Property A and property B are categorized under real estate category. Property A is all equity financed, while property B is financed using partly debt and partly equity. Both properties generated EBIT of 41,245. So we have here 41, 245, 41, 245, 41, 245, 900. What do you think in this case here will be the interest of property A? Somebody there in your comments, what do you think is the interest of property A? In your comments, what do you think is the interest of property A? Interest payable for property A. Interest payable for property. Elishiba 0, Emma 0. 0, 0, 0. I like that simply because you guys have been able to recognize the fact that this particular project is all equity financed. It doesn't have debt. So you can just mention somewhere there that property A doesn't have debt, and therefore its interest is what here? Is 0. Its interest is 0. So divide this by, ladies and gentlemen, the cost of equity. Have they given us the cost of equity? Have they given us the cost of equity? Have they given us the cost of equity? Yes, if you look at the sentence before required, the cost of equity is what percentage here? Is 12%. The cost of equity is 12%, like that. So please take this divided by 0.12. Divided by 0.12 and tell us who got it right. We extend that offer to them and now actualize it. So when you hear of net income, always think about EBIT minus interest. Minus interest. Net income approach. So divide very fast, and if you saw the names of the students who gave us answers and you never got it right yourself, just tell us who you think got it correctly. Njoki says some figure there. Was Njoki among the ones who got that figure? I got it, Okiri. But Okiri never gave us his answer there. Njoki never got it. Dan. Emmanuel says Dan was the first to get it. Josephine, I got it, but were you the first one, Josephine, really? I'm not able to see the blackboard. Are you sure? Tap the small screen. Kindly tap the small screen. Once you tap the small screen, so we are done getting it first. Who got it as the second student? Who was the second student to get it right? Dan got it. Then Beatrice was the second one. So we rest the case there. Our accountant, Dennis, please pick that. Pick that. Pick that. Mercy is asking how many marks from the question. I don't know. You need to get the original question. You need to get the original question. Now, you see, we haven't finished the question. This is value of what here? Equity. And then, of course, we know that this property, given that this property does not have any debt, the debt is 0, then the total value equals value of equity. Value of equity plus value of what? Debt. Value of equity plus value of debt. So value of equity is the figure that you guys got, plus our debt value, which is what here? 0. So, and therefore, the total value of property A is the value of equity that you guys got. So could we kindly go to property B? Let's go to property B. Property B, what do we have? Let's go to property B. Let's go to property B. Let's go to property B. Property B, I want you guys to help me get, first of all, value of equity. Help me get the value of equity for property B. For property B, help me get the value of equity. Help me to get the value of equity. For property B, help us get the value of equity. I'm able to see my board very well. The student who is saying that you can't really see the board, the problem must be from your end. The problem must be from your end. The problem must be from your end, not my end here. Thank you very much, Calvins. And how is the lighting, by the way, today? Are you able to see that the room is better lit? Please share the question on the screen. Dennis, yes, thank you very much. Lighting is okay, Calvins, thank you very much. Great, great, great. These are things we'll keep on improving every other day. Kennedy Mutuko says 164, 569, 549, I mean. 549, I mean. Let's do it together. So we want to get value of equity of property B. Property B. So we have here property B. You see property B, ladies and gentlemen, has debt. Once I see debt, I'll be interested in that debt so much. The debt, ladies and gentlemen, the debt for property B is 215 million. So 215 million, what I want is the interest. So have they given us the coupon rate of this interest? Yes, they've told us property B is financed partly by equity and partly by a 10% debenture. So 10% of 215 million, which will end up giving us 21.5 million. 21.5 million like that. 21.5 million. 21.5 million. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment I have this 21.5 million, then I will be able to remember very fast that my value of equity, the equity holders will get the net profit. As Dennis told us, net profit is EBIT minus interest. Although here, we don't levy any taxes. Divide this by the cost of equity. So then value of equity will be equal to EBIT ambayo tulikuwa tushapatiwa EBIT. EBIT tulikuwa tumepatia figure moja pale very, very ugly. Tulikuwa nasema both properties, no, it's not a bad figure. It's 41,245. 41,245, what, my friend? 900, thank you very much. Minus the interest that we got here of 21,500,000. We come and divide this by the cost of equity. The cost of equity, which in this case here is what here is 12%. 12% is applicable for both of them. So you get your calculator like this live. Say 41,245, 900 minus 21,500,000 equals divided by 0.12, which will end up giving us, thank you very much, which will end up giving us 164,549. One, call it 67 like that. But again, there are students who lose a mark by ending it at that point. That should not be the end. Ladies and gentlemen, Once I have the value of equity, I know where I should have this thing looked at. I know where I should be able to bill it. Of course, I'll be able to go to the total farm value. Total value will be equal to value of equity plus whatever value of debt. So 164, 549, 167 plus value of debt, ladies and gentlemen. Value of debt, ladies and gentlemen, we know the debt figure. The debt figure is quite huge, 215 million. 215 million. So whatever we have there plus 215 million, that gives us a bad figure, 379, 549, 167, like that. So that is all that you are required to do to be able to get all the marks in that particular question. Was that question really a tough question for a CPA Section 5 student? Was it a tough question, somebody, for a CPA Section 5 student? I'm waiting for a response. Faith says no. Emma, no. It was a straightforward question. No, much revision needed. Hapa, per interest, kuna problem, eh? Okay, thank you very much. Much revision, yes, is needed. After you understand the concept here, much revision. Now, there is something that I would want to do for the last time. Something that I would want us to do here for the very last time. If you could take me back to the handout. If you could take me back to the handout. For the very last time, this question number, this handout here, not that one. Not that one. I think the last one. Question number 5. Question number 5. Question number 5. This is the last time I'm doing this question of perpetuity. The last time. We know that perpetuity is a serious area. The last time. Bemunyonge Limited has just paid a dividend of shillings 4 per share. The company expects that the dividend will grow at the rate of 20% per annum for the first 2 years, then grow at the rate of 10% per annum for the next 2 years, and thereafter grow at the rate of 6% per annum into perpetuity. The required rate of return for the company is 16%. Required, they want us to give them the value of a share, theoretical or intrinsic value of a share. The key word there is perpetuity. So we want you guys to take like 5 minutes and tackle that question very fast. Just draw a table. Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. Perpetuity. Give me the answer. It's question number 5, Kennedy. Question number 5. Give us the answer. has finished? Is there somebody who has finished doing that table? I'm interested in getting the perpetuity figure. The perpetuity figure. The perpetuity figure. Josephine, she has 73. Thank you very much. 73 point. Thank you very much. Dan 73.877. Emma 73.88. That is okay. Nagua 73.88. That's okay. 87. It's okay. So from what I'm able to see, it's like everyone has gotten it correct. Everyone has gotten this correct. True or false? Do I need to do the question? Yes, do. Yes, please. Okay, so I have to do it. No problem. Yeah, I have to do it. So many are saying we do it. Okay. So if you could put it on the screen there, let's put it on the screen. It's there. So you're told question number 5. Be Munyonge Limited has just paid a dividend of shillings what year? 4 per share. The company expects the dividend will grow at the rate of 20% per annum for the first 2 years, then grow at the rate of 10% per annum for the next 2 years. So remember, we can't start, okay, let's talk of 0 here. So we have dividends per share. They have just paid, that is times 0. So they have just paid how much here? 4 per share. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just before infinity. So they're telling us that they expect this dividend to grow by what percentage? To grow by the dividend, to grow by rate of 20% per annum for the first 2 years. So for the first 2 years, this will be 4 times 1.2. Get an answer. So 4 times 1.2, get an answer, which is 4.8. Then we have 4.8 times 1. The first 2 years, it's 20%. 20%, when you take 20% is the same as 0.2. So 1 plus 0.2 is 1.2. So times 1.2, which gives us 5.76. Go to year number 3. So after the first 2 years, now we go to year 3 and 4, then grow at the rate of 10% per annum for the next 2 years. So next 2 years, we have 5.76 times 1.1. So times 1.1, that gives us 6.336. 6.336 last year's figure, have it growing again by 1.1, so times 1.1, which will end up giving us 6.9696. Go to year 5 and 6, what have they told us? So you have here then grow at the rate of 10% per annum for the next 2 years, and thereafter grow at the rate of 6% per annum into perpetuity, meaning that we don't have year 5 and what? 6. So we end it here, and then we pull the perpetuity. Perpetuity, I'm repeating again, this is the concept of provincial officer, which will be district officer into 1 plus growth rate all over Kenya minus government. Kenya minus government, Kenya minus government, Kenya minus government. So that is just a joke. Remember, PO is provincial officer. No, it is the current market price per share. This is the current dividend per share. KE is cost of equity. Then we have the growth rate like that. We have the growth rate like that. Now, good students, there is something I would want you to understand and understand very well. When it comes to valuation, you would need what we call PV, which is present value interest factor. present value interest factor. So for me to get present value present value interest factor, I will need the cost of capital. I'll have to check on the cost of capital. Have they given us the cost of capital in this question? Yes, they have told us the cost of capital, ladies and gentlemen, is 16%. Required rate of return is 16%. So at 16%, meaning that even if the examiner was to give me cost of equity like 10%, I will not use cost of equity here. This is just for purpose of cramming. Normally, the cost of capital that you use here is the one that you shall use down here. So here, I'll use what we call 16 what? 16%. I will use what we call 16%. 16%. So the most current dividend has been given, it is this one. It is 6.9696 times 1 plus the growth rate. Our growth rate here, our growth rate, perpetual growth rate. The perpetual growth rate, they told us it is 6% per annum indefinitely. 6% per annum indefinitely. Per annum in perpetuity. So 0.06 all over, we have the cost of capital, which is 0.16 minus 0.06 like that. So if you do it that way, you should be able to give us, ladies and gentlemen, the PO. You should be able to give us the PO. So the PO, what is my calculator? Oh, it's here. So the PO here will be 6.96 times 1.06 divided by open brackets, we have 0.16 minus 0.06, which will give us 73.877. 73.878. Thank you very much for those guys who got it right. Now, after I do this, there is one big mistake that I normally see my students here committing. You don't have to start from, you should never start from time zero. When you are doing valuation of shares, valuation of securities, we don't start from time zero. Ladies and gentlemen, remember even from this formula, how do we get PO? To get PO from this formula, to get PO, we normally talk of D1. We normally talk of D1 all over what here? KE minus what? G. When you take DO into 1 plus G, you end up getting what we call D1, meaning that we normally use future dividends to value organizations. We normally use future incomes to value, not current. So meaning that this one, you need to strike it out. When it comes to present valuation, you need to strike this out automatically. Time zero, we only use time zero whenever we are doing investment appraisal. When we are subtracting the initial cost outlay, that is when we use the time zero figure. Otherwise, in all these other calculations, finance, the time zero figure, whenever you see it, remove it. Remove it. It can really confuse you. So come here and give us our PVIF. PVIF is present value, interest what year? Factor. Present value, interest, factor. Present value, interest, factors. Remember the formula for PVIF is 1 plus R raised to negative what? N. The formula for PVIF. The formula for PVIF. The formula for PVIF. Let me write it down here. The formula for PVIF. The formula for PVIF is 1 plus R raised to negative N. 1 plus R raised to negative N. R is the cost of capital. So we move very fast. So we have here 1 plus 0.16, which is the same as 1.16. I will come and raise these two. I'll come and raise these two 1, which gives me negative 1, sorry. So we have 1.16 raised to negative 1, which gives me 0.8621. So this is the figure I'll always keep on playing around with. Raised to 2, I have 0.7432. Raised to 3, I have 0.640607. 6407. From there we have 4, which will end up giving us 0.5525. 2, 3. From there, we have the last one. So this last one, never make a mistake. The last one is an infinity parameter. Infinity parameter, ladies and gentlemen, infinity parameter, ladies and gentlemen, we normally discount it with this previous figure. We normally discount it with this previous figure. So we discount this by multiplying it with the previous PVF. I've always gotten students who ask me, Mwalimu, why can't you take this figure, you divide it with R? No, this thing of dividing with R already, we have taken care of it. We took care of it here. Let me explain this better. Let me explain this better. Let me explain this better. Ladies and gentlemen, remember from what we said. We said the present value, where n is infinity, is amount over what? Over R. But in situations where there are growth rates, this amount has always to be multiplied with 1 plus g, and then of course you subtract the g down there. So that thing of dividing with R, already I've taken care of it while I was getting this figure. But you see, I took that figure from the future perpetuities and came and lumped it here, which is equivalent to the end of year 4. End of year 4. And that is why we are making use of the lump sum PV of year 4 for this one here, for that one there. So then come and create a column here for PV. Create a column here for present value, present values. So present value, simply go there and do your multiplications. Go there and do your multiplications. So we have 4.8 times 0.8621, which gives us 4.13808. If you want to put more decimal places, you can just restrict ourselves here to 4 decimal places. So we have 5.76 times 0.7432, which will give us 4.2808. Then we have 6.336 times 0.6407, which gives us 4.0595. Then we have 6.9696 times 0.5523, which gives us 3.8493, like that. And then now you'll come and I grabbed the other figure. That is this figure that they gave me there. This one of perpetuity. This one of perpetuity, the one that they gave us here, 73 point something. Please make reference there. And then you give me 73.878. So 73.878 times 0.5523. So 73.878 times 0.5523, which will give us 40.8028, like that. So now come and add up everything. So plus 3.8493 plus 4.0595 plus AFM si karatasi ya kwangu. Kija na SMS kuniambia umeanguka AFM, nitakuchekelea kweli kweli. Hii ni paper ambayo ni straightforward. Problem pia ambayo inasumbua wanafunzi wengi na hii karatasi, wengi wanakuwa waoga. As an invigilator, I've also done invigilation for quite some time. At times you give a student an AFM paper, unamwekea kwa meza namna hii. Straight anaanza kuona jasho, maji kwa forehead na mwagika. Wewe unafunza maji kimweka namna hiyo, jasho kwa forehead na mnene mwagika, atapita kweli? Is this answer correct? Is this answer correct? Yeah, apart from rounding off errors, we expect to get what here? That particular value. We expect to get that particular value. Let's go back to our question 4. Question number 4. Thank you very much, Stephen. Thank you very much, Josephine. Question number 4. Question number 4. So question number 4, ladies and gentlemen, what are they telling us there? We look at part B of this question. It's also talking about what here? Perpetuity. Like if you look at last semester, they gave us a perpetual cash flows twice. So Double Limited is contemplating acquiring Tattoo Limited. And by the way, you have these questions on your WhatsApp. You need to go to your WhatsApp and download it. If you have a printer, you print. So Double Limited is contemplating acquiring Tattoo Limited. The following information relates to Tattoo Limited for the next 5 years. So they have given us year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, up to year 5. They have given us net sales. They have given us cost of sales. They have given us selling and administration expenses. They have given us interest expenses. Additional information, after the 5th year, the cash flows available to Double Limited from Tattoo Limited are expected to grow by 10% per annum in perpetuity. Note 2, Tattoo Limited will retain shillings 40 million for internal expansion every year. Note 3, the cost of capital can be assumed to be 18%. Note 4, the applicable corporation tax rate is 30%. So they want us simply to give them cash flows first. So how do we get cash flows? You take the sales revenue, subtract all the expenses, get what we call profit before tax, give the taxman his due. And in this case, you'll be able to give us what we call the profit what year after tax. And since there is no depreciation, then your profit after tax becomes your operational cash flows. So for number 1, I'm supposed to sit down pretty. You guys give me the cash flows because you are serious accountants at your workplace. There are people who are trying to enter now. Wow. What is the time? Oh. Oh, that's what they're living in. So ladies and gentlemen, I would have really wished to continue. There is some concept that I would want us to get, all of us. There is some connection that I would want us to have in terms of advanced financial management, which will always make every one of us pass this paper. So I would want to request you to go through these items I've been doing from yesterday. Take them seriously, and then if you allow me, I would want to run away so that we meet in our next class. In our next class, the students who are to come at 7, I'm uploading this video straight away for them right now on YouTube and share with them the link. After all, I'm seeing it's like you are 40, over 40, or they went to 61 in the list. Okay. I'll just upload the video and then they should be able to watch from there. Otherwise, thank you very much. God bless you. Good night. I hope you have added value to you. I hope it wasn't a waste of time. Value added. Thank you very much, Charles. Insightful, Emma. Thank you very much. Done enjoying online classes. And please, when colleges open, don't say that you will continue enjoying online classes. Come back to the college. Come back to college. Thank you very much. And please try as much as possible to market. Try as much as possible to market this program for us. Like now we want to buy that big Zoom for 300 because I can see this one of 100. It's like already we have exhausted the capacity. We need a bigger Zoom. So we need quite much of resources. And thank you very much. By the way, we are not where we began from. We are making improvements daily because of the resources that you normally give us. Thank you very much. God bless you. To those who are coming from very, very far. The ones coming from very, very far who can't attend our physical classes, we shall continue with what year? This. We shall continue with these Zoom classes. We'll still join you from Kisumu even after colleges. Yes, you'll still get these live classes. When our college is expected to resume? Around 8th of next month. 8th of next month. But I'm so sure there are those students who will live and be comfortable with this online. Moving forward, it's also something that we would want you to just continue consuming. Thank you very much. The class which are coming, yeah, there's a class at 7, so please that one, do it as a homework, as a homework and post it. McKenna says online all the way, especially for the late night classes. Yes, we need you guys to create time even for your families. You can imagine if you have a young family and you are coming for late night classes in colleges in town, you're leaving town at 10 p.m. Unaenda kwa mzee mgani? Unaenda kwa family gani? Hapana. Thank you.